There are ways to get free websites if people don't have the budget for that. But maximizing everything free out there, obviously social media is free, but you have to learn how to do it, is like a good first step.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Campfire Capitalism. I'm your host, Desmond Dixon. And today, once again, no Heather. She's on vacation. So you just have me and two amazing guests. Today, we are going to talk about a lot of good stuff from marketing to entrepreneurship and maybe a little bit in between, some magic. And today, I have an amazing guest. Their name is Joe and Galan from Valor Marketing. It's an online marketing company that helps business understand how internet marketing can help their company grow their business. They pursue relationships based on transparency, persistence, mutual trust, and most importantly, integrity. What's up, guys? Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having us on.
Thanks for having us.
Boom, boom, boom. Yo, I feel like it's 2 against 1 today, man. So I'm gonna try my best to keep it easy and flow. So before we hop into any of the game that you guys want to share with the audience, let's just kind of understand, you guys are in business together, you have a partnership, in a way you can kind of call it a marriage, right? A work marriage. So how did you guys get in business with each other? And talk to me a little bit about your journey and, how do you guys, created the agency and what you guys offered and things like that. Let's start off with that.
I guess I'll start. So we almost have the most untraditional journey to be working in an internet marketing kind of world. So I don't know, Joe, what is it, about 20 years? Had since we first met each other, roughly, right?
I don't think it's that long, maybe 15, but that's still 15? Long enough.
All right, it feels like 20. Like a marriage, you go so long and you forget it because, when you're having fun, you don't keep track of time and everything. But we actually came from the yellow page industry. So as far industry away from the digital marketing space. And we worked for a company called Yellow Book, and it was internet or Yellow Pages was a very profitable business. So that was a cash cow, bringing in a couple $2 billion. As we know, the internet happened, and there was a slow loss of revenue from print dollars to internet dollars. I mean, just as an example, I had a client that was an injury attorney that had a $250,000 bill every year on print phone books. It's crazy. So Yellow Book tried to pivot and say, all right, we're going to start selling internet marketing. They were late to the game. And Joe and I were tasked with our clients to, hey, it's just easy. Just move them from they're spending this much to a full page, get them to spend the internet. But it wasn't that easy. And the approach was different. So when you say transparency, integrity, they were losing some of that because they just wanted to match dollar for dollar. They're running a business, right? So our beliefs kind of didn't go that way. And when they first got started, we came on board with the initiative and leading our clients to the digital age. One of our mentors who they brought on, essentially how I best describe it is almost like a Matrix moment, right? So Morpheus pulls us out and says, do you want to take the red pill or the blue pill? Do you want to go back in and plug into the fake reality, or do you want to come out and see the truth? Well, so many years later, 10 years later in the Valor world, we're seeing the truth, and it hasn't always been easy, but as entrepreneurs, we know that. And the commonality that Joe and I have and Mick have, our founder, was just kind of that trueness to the client, being 100% transparent. We educate first before we try to sell. We want to empower people with the resources that are available so they make the decision. If we're a good fit, we'd love to help you. And that's kind of the things that where we are today than where we are, I guess, 15 years ago. But in my mind, it feels like 20. So.
Man, this is interesting. I think this is really the first conversation I've ever had with anyone who've seen the other side of the coin before the big digital transformation. So this is fascinating. So talk to me about you guys can talk to me about your story, but I have a follow-up to the Yellow Pages thing. So talk to me about the like the big trends, or like what do you like from a compare and contrast point of view of traditional print marketing and then transitioning to our digital marketing business? Because you're talking maybe about like mom and pop stores or small manufacturing companies or agencies where they're not doing like high ticket consulting or coaching programs or anything like that that's littered all around digital like ads where people are opting in and buying a little widget. These are like maybe long form relationships, branding and things like that. So talk to me about like how your conversations change from the print side to the digital, like the actual digital marketing side. Like talk to me about like those trends and in that transition, man. I'm pretty fascinated by it.
I'm gonna jump in right away. You just brought up a thing that came to mind is like marketing is like fashion. So you've got like clothing from the 70s and then you get to the 80s, 90s. Now you're in the 2000s. Your fashion is always changing. But yet some of those older pieces from back in the 60s and 70s is now slowly starting to come back. So that's how marketing still is. So it's still like there was yellow pages and then direct mail and then magazines, and then you get online directories, and then you're getting into digital marketing. So people are like, oh, I see the value in having a good website, maybe some search engine optimization, Google ads, trying to generate leads. You know, you're working on lead management for a business. Then you start slowly bringing in like some branding pieces with like curated ads and retargeting. But lo and behold, now some of those traditional types of print marketing, like your direct mail pieces and your magazines, are still slowly coming back into place. Is that accurately described, Galan?
Yes. And then I guess from a process standpoint, Desmond, to answer your thing, you know, sales is sales and marketing is marketing. So there's still like a need analysis component, but your needs have changed with how people are finding you. So the advent of the cell phone, computer, now personal assistants. So what we see is people still need the same things as they did 20 years ago. You know, your a sink, your toilet kind of clogs and you're looking for a plumber, right? Well, before they go into Yellow Pages and look under plumber. Nowadays, they talk to their cell phone because people rarely type now. They talk and say, plumber's near me, plumber's now. The need is the same, but the way they're doing it has changed. So as a digital marketing agency, it's almost perfect for us because like you said, we've seen both sides of the coin, the heads and the tail side, right? But both sides of the coin are still relevant. Well, we just understand that better where we're looking for not selfishly what we sell, but on the other side, from the more consultative approach, what the customer needs. So oftentimes it could be the customer needs something that we don't offer, but we still would like to connect them or refer them to some of the agencies or marketing people that could help them. So it's really, the advent of digital just has spurned a lot of different kind of patterns with the way people find things. But what we know now for sure is like you need some kind of web presence. You can't ignore it to have it. You know, in the Yellow Page days, you needed a listing. If your business was listed in the Yellow Pages, like, oh, you're a legitimate business. Now, forget the business card. Well, how can I find you online or read about what you do, what you offer, what people say about you, you know, or when you're not looking for someone, there's an ad that comes up, oh, because I need this, you know, then you'll go down the digital rabbit hole to find wherever you end up. So.
Okay. All right. I got to unpack something a little bit further. Then we'll pivot a little bit because I'm just, I'm looking at everything that you guys do. And I think like being a sales guy myself, I've sold marketing before. I've seen all types of marketing strategies through the wazoo, man, from corporate to, the small business space to even like being a business owner myself and, guerrilla tactics, all types of different things. And one thing I've noticed in the marketing space that isn't talked about enough is reputation management and long tail strategies that compound over time, right? Which I guess reputation kind of goes into that because your reputation can literally grow your business year over year again because more and more people are staying with you and then they're telling more and more people, right? And those people tell more and more people. So you grow from just by having a solid reputation, right? And the reason why I bring that up is because, one thing I noticed that you guys just looking at your website and like after having a conversation, you guys are pretty genuine about like, hey, we're just here to have relationships and you do business with me, great. If you don't do business with me, that's also great. We're here whenever you need us. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about the followers with like social media, so building a community, and like the reputation management side of the business. So like how important is that? And like, how do you guys do that with your clients, like in the long tail, to really help them, with that those compounded returns in the long run?
So do you want to start with the reputation management?
Yeah. So reputation management is huge. You can go about doing it, a number of different ways. There's all kinds of different platforms out there to do it through. You could try to do it yourself. But the key things that we kind of teach people is with like your Google reviews. Always answer or always reply to both the positive and negative reviews. Because if, let's say, I'm looking to buy a product online and I see that they have all these 5 stars, that's great. But what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to look at the 1 and 2 star reviews. And then what I'm going to do when I look at those 1 and 2 star reviews, I'm going to look to see if the business took the time out of their day to reply to that review. And the easiest way to reply to that review would be something like, so-and-so, thank you for purchasing our product or hiring our company. We're sorry you didn't have the experience that you're looking to have. Here is someone that you could reach out to within the company. We want to try to make things right. And then you just leave it at that. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to go through this back and forth, he said, she said thing. The other thing then is if, let's say you have a negative review, you could do something like, a lot of times if someone got fired from a business, right away they go online and they leave a negative review. And all you have to do is to address that is just, hey, this person used to work at our company. They're no longer here. Or if it's someone who's just have never done business with you, it's okay to put, hey, this person, we've never done business with this person, and just leave it at that. But it's always good to reply to especially the negative reviews, but also taking the time to reply a thank you message to each individual positive review as well.
But just to put that spin in some more numbers, because I like different stats and everything. I think I read a stat a few years ago, I don't know if it's current now, but 84% of people trust third-party reviews over personal recommendations. So you've seen it, like Yelp started a business that way. When you look at restaurants, you'll trust these people. You don't know who they are, what their favorite food is, but they'll say, this is the best taco truck, within 5 miles. And you see that repeated. And all of a sudden you believe like a lemming, like, oh, if everyone else likes it, you might as well like it too. And then another stat I read was based on average star review going up or down. I think it could be anywhere from like 12 to 15% on your bottom line profitability. So if you go from a 5 to a 4, or conversely from a 3 to a 4, that could be a significant loss or addition to your bottom line, strictly based on your reputation of strangers that you don't even know personally. So that's just the intriguing thing. Us as an agency, when we talk about transparency and integrity, the people that can't do it themselves, we do offer an automated solution where, all right, we have a playbook. Here's how you want to do it. Send review requests daily, weekly, monthly. We could help expedite that and generate reviews for you reputation-wise. So,
man, like you unpacking that, first of all, that was fire, by the way. Audience, rewind. If you're driving, don't rewind, but rewind and listen to that part over again. It's so funny how you did this, because literally, so today I surprised my girlfriend with a trip to Croatia for the weekend, because we're here in Montenegro for the quarter. And when I was going through that Airbnb process of like, okay, which place I'm gonna book, I literally go and read every single review before I give them my money. And I look for like my checklist in my head of location, comfortable bed, clean. I want to see those repeated over and over and over again. And then obviously good internet, right? Because we all need good internet for the Netflix. Right? And then that's on the side of receiving. And then I was like, man, I could think of the times I wrote reviews, and there's usually almost 2 extreme cases. It's either like I had an amazing experience, like one guy in Greece, like took us all over, like it was a great host. Like I was like, man, I'm gonna write you a novel, man. I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna get creative.
Review of all reviews, right?
Yeah. So. And then I can remember my bad experiences. And I'm like, where I had to eat money, because it's like, man, this place sucks so bad. I have to go. So I need to eat, say, keep my money. I'm going somewhere else. And then that makes me even more, you know what I mean? So it's like, man, that's crazy that you literally said that there's studies show that 12 to 15% of your bottom line. Guys, that's profit. That's profit. Like that's money that you can reinvest in your business for operations. That's money you can reinvest in growth. That's money that you could take home if you're a business owner, right? That's your vacation.
You could, yep, exactly. Vacation. That's taking your family someplace, buying yourself something rewarding. I mean, it could be a number of different things.
And the key thing here, like for us, we like to teach our clients, but there are resources out there that you could do it for free. So this 12 to 15% added bottom line, it should be we tell all our clients, no matter whether they hire us or not, having an online review strategy is so imperative to your business today because of the access of information of everyone at their fingertips. And as to Joe's point, oftentimes you'll look at the first negative review and people will judge a business on how that business owner replies to that review. They could be in the wrong, but if you showed like, oh, I'm sorry, this happened, we won't happen again, please, how can I do it? How can I do something to make it better? People like read that and they take note of that. So.
Man, love it. Compounding, guys. I love that. So once again, I met a ton of marketing guys, companies, all different shapes and sizes. I'm just super curious, what makes you guys different, right? What makes you stand out? Give me the deets, man. Tell me all the secrets.
Secret. I love that. Biggest secret is we will walk away from a sale. So to give you an example, let's say we're meeting with a business owner and you're looking at the first thing, which is their website, which is where you're trying to send traffic to. If their baby's ugly, I'm not going to do business with them. If they're not willing to spruce up their baby, make their website better, more presentable, easier to convert on, then we have no problem from walking away from a business deal or adding on a client. Because for us, it's not about the money and earning more money. It's about the service am I providing? Is it going to yield a return for that business? So if it's not going to yield a return, then why even do it? Whereas most other marketing companies, it's all about the numbers. It's not about the quality of the sale, the quality of the client. It's about how many, because we were both in the yellow pages, so they can care less about, am I really helping that business or not? It's really about the bottom line for a lot of other agencies or a lot of other marketing companies. Whereas us, it's really about how can I help that business? I think that's the number one thing that sets us apart. What else, Galan?
I would say 1A would be trust also. So we've seen instances where customers initially will trust us, they'll pay for a service, we'll provide it, we'll show results. And then some customers will say, well, you're not really producing results. And like, well, all right, let's peel it back. Let's listen to the phone calls, look at the forms. We are doing this. But if they don't trust us anymore, we'll have to walk away from that, even if it's a profitable relationship. Because for us, it's really about finding a solution that help a customer genuinely, than like Joe said, trying to turn a profit. I mean, we are probably the anti-marketing agency model in terms of values and integrity. I mean, we don't go to work thinking, how am I going to get my 20% over this client, or how am I going to grow this client? Because in some cases, a client may have to retract back because, well, you don't have a capacity to scale it forward. Let's just keep you right where you are. And we've had those conversations where other agencies will go, right? Increase, where I guess that's where we're really different. I mean, it's so cliche. I know to your audience, oh, these guys care, but we really do. So, and faced with the pandemic, I mean, we had an initiative because of the pandemic happened. People were struggling. So we came up with an initiative to give websites away to small businesses. So kind of how we're built, what we offer is really who we are as people behind the Valor kind of shield and everything. So
yeah, I would say then, and then to that, Galan, then you asked, what truly makes us different when it comes to different solutions. SEO, it's a exclusivity model. We work with one business per industry per area. So if you're let's say a roofer in Seattle, guess what? I'm working with one roofer in Seattle. I'm not working with 8 roofers in Seattle for SEO, or even 4 roofers for, I'm going to work with one. We also expand SEO. SEO is a fixed cost. So every six to 8 months or so, we add one additional city at no additional cost. I don't know of any other SEO companies who add in things for free. When it comes to things like Google Ads, we disclose our margins. So that's a big thing that we run up against is here's what my budget is. Great. But how much of that budget is their margin or their management fee? And a lot of times that's not disclosed to a business owner. So like our margins are 25% and that margin stops at $5,000 a month. So it doesn't matter if you're spending $5,000 a month or $40,000 a month, your margin stops at 25%. The only case that doesn't happen with is I was going to say is with e-commerce website. Yeah.
At a $5,000 budget, the management fee is 25% of that, which is $1,250. You double that budget, we're not going to increase your management fee. You triple that budget, you're at $30,000 a month, your management fee is $1,250. Getting back to Joe's point about SEO, we have had it where we work with more than one business per industry, per area. In the instance where that business becomes so overwhelmed with leads, they'll say, can you help my other competitor that I like? And we've actually built businesses that way too. You know, like there was an attorney I was working with in the second floor building. He goes, I'm too overwhelmed. Can you help the guy on the first floor? Because he's struggling. And those are the two people we work with for that industry in that area. So there are exceptions, but you know, that's kind of gives you paint a picture to everyone listening of kind of how we're different. So.
And then no long-term contracts, right? SEO is a 6-month agreement and then month to month because it's just something that takes time. And everything else is a 3-month agreement. And our philosophy is if I can't prove my worth and my value and deliver results for like, let's say Google Ads in 3 months, then you should fire me. Because it doesn't matter if I can't produce results in 3 months, how am I going to produce results in 6 months or 9 months or a year? Most other companies hold people to long-term agreements. Us, it's if I can't deliver results, fire me.
It's almost like you guys are like practicing what you preach. So like, guys, this is a masterclass of reputation management, right? Of like happy customers, right? Being able to say, hey, I'm gonna walk from a deal. I think there's a lot of, I think that I'm gonna touch back on that because I think that's right there is a very important lesson in this, because if a deal doesn't match, right, where there's no harmony or alignment in beliefs with a client, then sometimes you got to walk away in order to re-engage, right? Yep. I can think of multiple situations where I walked away from deals 6, 7, 8 months later, they come back, but they come back knowing what the terms and how, what needs to be in alignment, right? So there's no confusion. Because as you guys know, you guys have been in business a minute, there's nothing worse than having the 80-20 rule where, you know, you have a bunch of customers, right, that overall don't really decide to keep your doors open, but are taking up 80% of your energy, right? Because there's a bunch of, you know, there's this, you know, that shadow work, right? I hate to shadow work, but you know what I mean? Like there's like, yes, you know, the back and forth, and it's just like, it just ruins the morale. And like you said, it doesn't matter if the relationship is profitable. If the energy is not right, then it's just going to also affect the company internally. And then, yeah, man. So I love that, like the ability to walk away. I think that was a really important lesson. And
it's kind of like the words on your logo too: consume less, create more. It goes right into that kind of same philosophy, right? We're trying to maximize investment, but create more, but try not to make such a headache about it, especially from a business side, right? The 80-20 rule. You know, so because you get that one customer, sometimes it's 90-10. They're like, oh, goodness, time to get rid of you.
Gotta go.
Yeah, we all know that one. So,
yeah. I love it, man. Man, there was something else I wanted to unpack. So, also one thing I love that you guys said, just kind of recap here, is the most marketing guys I talk with, the first number that they care about is CAC. Customer acquisition costs. I mean, most business owners, you should know your CAC and your LTV. Like those are like critical, right? In terms of really understanding your marketing. So I thought that was pretty interesting. We're going to cover reputation management. You know, let's unpack something else. So like what's something that you could share with the audience regarding like some easy, like things that they can do with their marketing outside of obviously reputation management, unless you want to use that example, to really like maybe get the ball rolling. So let's just say that they're doing everything by word of mouth, right? Because most successful businesses who start off, they literally breathe money into business from existing relationships or some personal reputation. So if they're a person that hasn't really thought about their marketing before, they've been in business, they maybe have some inconsistent, they have some really high highs and some really low lows every once in a while. What are some like actionable steps or some things that you guys want to leave with them so that they can, maybe put themselves in a position to have better consistency and growth in the long run?
I guess I'll start with this one first. So I would say, saying it with a straight face is take advantage of all the free resources out there. So taking advantage of all the free resources out there. So Google is the biggest search engine in the world. The second biggest search engine is YouTube, and Google owns YouTube. Joe and I have been lucky to partner with Google on their Grow with Google initiative to help educate businesses, where we've been in the top 10% of partner agencies on just educating people. So we're not even selling anything, we're educating people. So I would say taking advantage of Google My Business, creating a YouTube channel, having a website. There are ways to get free websites if people don't have the budget for that, but maximizing everything free out there. Obviously, social media is free, but you have to learn how to do it, is like a good first step. Because if you're doing the right things and you have highs and lows like a roller coaster, at least it could level out. Or maybe you make the highs higher and the lows you don't dip so low, so you kind of elevate your game. To your audience, I'd say the presentation decks we've had from these workshops, we could readily email them out to you. It's just a ton of free information. Joe, what are on the Google stuff? What are the top two things you see are so important with the free Google My Business page to businesses? And I know not every business will need a Google My Business page if you're like a SaaS company, software as a service, or like an e-com. But for those brick and mortar businesses, this is probably an essential part of the playbook. So
I would say make sure the information tab is completely filled out as much as possible. So name, address, phone number, ways to get in contact you, services that you offer, descriptions of those services. If you sell products, you can list your products on there. That's number one. Number two is make sure that you upload pictures of the services you offer or the products that you sell, because those actually in your Google Insights, it'll show you then how many views each one of those pictures is actually delivering, and adding videos to it. If you can have a short name, which some profiles allow it and some profiles don't. I don't understand Google's reasoning for it, but it would be at whatever. If you get that, then you could share that short name, which is g.page / whatever the short name is. You could just send that to your clients to ask them to write a review, because it sends a direct link to their Google My Business review. I'm trying to think what else in Google My Business.
Well, I guess just to the point of the reviews, they even have an app you could download, the Google My Business app. And from reviews, now you could reply directly, almost like real time. One thing Google is really pushing now is like messaging. So you see it on a lot of different sites online. Like there's people would rather message than call sometimes, because they want it on their terms. And sometimes people are afraid to talk, or they're just lazy to. They've enabled that feature. So you're looking at engagement and interactivity, all really, again, back to the advent of voice search, right? Your mobile device kind of being smarter than a lot of the people using the device to serve up results they think are good for you. So,
and then when you get into lead generation, I would look at, if you are not booked out and you need more work now, then get with a Google partner that offers both Google ads. There's also local search ads, or LSA ads, which is the Google guarantee ads at the top. If you're booked out, let's say a month or more, then you could invest into search engine optimization, because SEO is a long-term marketing strategy. And on average, it could take 4 to 6 months to push a business to the first page, depending on what industry they're in and how competitive their industry is. And then once after you have a solid foundation of leads coming in, then you could start investing into like your branding. Take a look at social media. Use the social media platform that you understand. So if you don't understand TikTok or Snapchat, then don't do TikTok or Snappy Chat. If you don't know how to tweet, don't tweet. If your social media platform is Facebook, then stick to Facebook. If it's LinkedIn, stick to LinkedIn. But building a good social media, just building that social media presence is good. Keeping your followers informed of what's going on with your business. It's the 80-20 rule, 80% informational, 20% selling. No one likes to be sold on through social media. You get enough of that from talking, and then your phone picks it up and then serves up ads to you. And then once you have your social platform down, then you can get into branding your business online. There's different ways to do that through display ads, whether it's geofencing or the scary stuff, the curated audience targeting, where if you're a roofer, I want to target homes that are 20 years old, 2,000 square feet or more, have 2 or 3 car garages. They are a homeowner only. They have an income of $100,000 or more. They have an AB credit score rating. There's at least $75,000 equity in the home. They have 2 dogs, 1 cat. They speak Spanish, and they are into golf. So if that's who your target audience is through curated audience, the kind of the scary targeting stuff, then you should look into that. Did I miss anything for lead gen?
I guess the one thing I'd say, outside of getting the free stuff and everything Joe said, is kind of the foundation of everything is a website, having a functional website that is probably mobile friendly. There's a lot of resources you could create websites on. We use a platform called WordPress just because Google likes WordPress, and your pages there can be easily indexed for these search engines. But having a website, even if it's free or what you could afford, is better than not having one at all. So even if you can't afford some paid internet marketing, your website now is your business card from 20, 30 years ago. People will snap judge you based on how you look online, and then kind of the reviews kind of just enforce that. But your customer experience online is so important with just, if you want to be called, your phone number should be easily found. Or if this is a service you want, the number one mistake we see businesses is they'll say, oh, we don't get calls for this, but it's not listed on their site. But they think people should assume like, oh, if I'm a roofer, I also offer gutters or whatever it is, right? I'm an attorney, and don't you know I offer this too? Well, you got to tell people, you got to show people. People are lazier now. Our attention span is less than a goldfish, and a goldfish has an attention span of 5 to 7 seconds. On a mobile device, it's like 3 seconds. It's like the attention span of a 2-year-old. So you almost have to think of who your audience is to deliver content that's easy to understand, quick. How can I contact you? Right. So.
Man, I already have a follow-up question, but that was fire, guys. I appreciate it. The mind reading thing, what you just described as like, it's so, oh my goodness, man, it is like a plague. And entrepreneurship is, my customers should, like, they assume that the customers not only know what they offer, but then know what's going to happen on the back end of it, right? So like what you guys described is on the front end, and that same type of behavior and mental modeling is on the back end as well, in terms of like fulfillment, or right before they close the deal, they expect the customer to know, here's the next steps, rather than creating certainty to then actually get the order for the deal, because the client knows, okay, I know for certain this is what I'm getting, and I know how it's going to happen, right? So that was huge, man. I love that. I guess my next question, man, before we wrap up here, is I'm super fascinated with this because you guys seeing a lot of data. You guys work with a lot of different clients. Like from a conversion, we talked about lead generation, right? But from a conversion perspective, what recipe did you guys see work the best in terms of like conversion? Let's just use brick and mortars for an example, right? We're going to stay away from, so we're going to say a roofing company or a bakery or plumbing company, whatever. Like, what do you guys see is like actually is a conversion? Is it calls? Is it people knowing that they're open? They see the reviews and they just walk in, like with some awareness? Like, what did you guys see? Like, is it lead forms, like, contact us forms, or emails, email opt-ins? Like, what do you guys see convert the most for traditional businesses?
I would still say phone calls are number one. People want answers now. it's just phone calls. And it's really, we like to track our clients' phone calls because number one, we're providing leads for them. We want to make sure they answer in a timely manner. We've seen customers not answer in a timely manner and then complain. And that's kind of the difference of if you lose, speed to lead, right? Like if you get a lead, you got to be quick to close it. Because if you don't answer that question, they're going to do another search. Next person that calls them, they're going to get it, right? So it's almost speed to lead. Awareness we see is important too, because that's kind of branding, almost that top of mind awareness, right? TOMA, like you're thinking of something and like, oh, where did I see that? Oh, here you go. The big box brands, the Cokes, the McDonald's of the world, you see those ads. But even small business could replicate some of that playbook locally with some extended forms of kind of marketing. Joe, anything else I miss?
Yeah, I mean, I would say phone calls is still number one through websites. If you're service-based, make sure you have a contact form on every single service page that you offer. So you want to have multiple ways that a consumer can get in touch with you. If you are maybe something that a business or a consumer would research before they hire you, you can have like different types of brochures that you put on your website, like the 5 best reasons for this, or this is why I'm different over here. Because people are actually going to click on those and they're actually going to read about it because you're giving them another reason why they should hire you. When it comes to like your boutique stores, I think it's great for people to collect information because that's how they do their email marketing. As far as like a conversion, if you're looking for like a conversion percentage, I can't give you one. Someone asked me that the other day. They're like, what are you going to do? What's my conversion percentage? How is that going to tally into, sales? I'm like, well, first of all, I haven't done any marketing for your business. So without data, I can't readjust if something is working or not working. So you need to have the data.
I will say though, in a small sample size, last touch attribution metric is that people would be calling while they're reading a customer review. I've seen that. I've heard that feedback a couple of times. So, like they're on their website and then on their phone, they're reading reviews. It's almost like two devices, or they're reading reviews online, but they're calling. So like, like where are you calling from? It's a lot of, and it's not, I can't have a diehard, solid stat, but we've heard that feedback a lot. Like, oh, people will call and based on how they're calling, they're almost rereading the review to the business owner, right? I'd be intrigued to get the stat on e-com sites. If you're selling online, like, are they doing it from reading like the last review? What was on the screen last before you hit purchase or add to cart? That'd be a really intriguing online stat. So I don't have enough data to say that, but kind of an interesting nugget to people out there. Why, again, we can go back to the reputation management, how it's so important, right? So.
Man, I had 2 more questions. I lied because it came up, but something that just randomly brainstorming here, just for fun, just like mental modeling. I was like, man, the whole calling thing, I was like, man, like I'm so used to people booking calls. So like in outbound, obviously you're trying to book an opportunity with someone, right? Especially if it's, enterprise level deals. And then in the, let's say the coaching, consulting, the high ticket services, you're trying to essentially have them book on your calendar. And then you're pretty much saying for traditional businesses, it's when they're in the moment, the heat of the moment. And they're like, I need to make a decision, a buying decision, because I got a leak that's about to cause water damage in my house and I need a plumber here like tomorrow, like not tomorrow, but yesterday. Right. Yep. Or, hey, I'm hungry. I wonder if this new bakery is open, or, you know what I mean? Like whatever it is. Right. And then it had me thinking, I was like, man, I wonder if like, since people are so hot and ready when they're on your website, and that's why probably, chats or chat bots are probably pretty effective. I don't know. I never used a chat bot before, guys, unless it's like I'm already a customer and I'll use the chat bot for customer service because I don't feel like picking up a phone and going through a bunch of dialing shit. You know what I mean? Excuse my language, but you know what I mean? Like that's the only time. So have you guys used chat bots before, or do you think that's pretty effective, or do you think it's just a waste of time?
Yeah, I would say depending on the industry, but yes, for a lot of your services, you are correct. People don't want to talk to anyone anymore. So I've known service companies that have installed the chatbot feature onto the website, and it has increased their business because now that chat box feature actually sends a message to someone who's monitoring it on their cell phone. So let's say it's an after hours call. Someone goes to the website, hey, my plumbing, my water pipe just burst. I need to find a plumber. I get to a plumber's website. I see that they have a chat box. I send a quick message. You could either have it set up to where they give automated messages. Hey, please give us a call, blah, blah, blah. Or sometimes a live person will actually answer that call. And then you have that dialogue going through. So I think the chat box feature for certain industries works. Not all industries, but certain industries.
I'd say even for our legal clients, that's a hit and miss because, you can't automate a chatbot giving legal advice. So they're just like, are you open? Can I book you? They want to get to the schedule part, because intriguingly enough, there's a couple of divorce attorneys I work with, and they get hit up a lot at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, like F my husband, they're out of town. I smelled some perfume. Like you get those kind of calls at that time. So she's, my client is answering calls at like 8, 9 in the morning from these people hitting her up at like 3, like when they need it now.
Yeah.
So it's hit and miss. Like it depends on the industry, because people are creatures of habit. No different. You're on Amazon, you think of something, you read something and get an idea. I want to buy this. And then you read a couple of reviews, you buy it. And the next morning I go, what did I buy? Like it's a spur of thing. Depending on the need, like, oh, my roof is leaking. I need to get that fixed now to like, hey, I want to grow my business. I need a business coach that'll help me. And I read his book and everything, or watch a couple of YouTube videos. The urgency is different, but I still think the playbook's the same with people going back to reviews and listening to what third-party people, strangers have to say to help make a decision for you personally. So,
can I ask a quick question there, Desmond? Could we talk about podcasts and the value of podcasts for businesses?
Absolutely, man. Pro podcast here. Let's
podcast. Since we're on one, I find that more and more businesses, especially in the like business coach world, are starting podcasts because it adds that layer of why someone would want to hire them. So like I know a guy local to us, he has a kind of a business consulting business. He brings on other successful businesses or other businesses in general. And they talk about, this is how I got started. These are some of the bumps in the road. This is how whatever. So I think podcasting is just another way for you to produce relevant content and share it with your potential clients and give them another reason why they may be interested in hiring you.
Man, I love podcasts, man. Like I think it's for what I do, because I'm a sales recruiter and trainer. It has been the most fun. I've never had so much fun doing anything else related to work other than obviously like training kids and getting those text messages like, yo, I just closed my first deal, right? Or whatever. Just because it's the amount of like bonding and networking that you do, like the kind of people that I've met in the last 4 months. It's like I would have paid thousands of dollars in masterminds to get in conversation with these people, right? Because most people in the podcasting space are abundant mindset. Like it's very giving and fun, and everyone's in it to have a good time and provide value to people, right? Like no one's not trying to get rich off a podcast. Unless you're
right,
which is crazy because I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So not everyone's the next Joe Rogan, right? Like you're not.
Yeah. Like
there's no deals coming up lining up, so.
And Joe Rogan was like an accidental success. Like the guy didn't start Joe Rogan like say, I want to sign a 9-figure contract with Spotify. He was just like, I just want to talk stuff with my friends and drink whiskey and smoke cigars and just like talk for like 3 hours straight. You know what I mean? Like I love it, man. Dude. Okay. Before we wrap up, I got one more question. Sorry, I keep doing this, but you guys are just so fun, man. We definitely got to bring you back on here in another season. So something I'm super interested in, right? And we have a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners listening to this. And one thing I definitely want to unpack more is selling and buying businesses. Because I think that particularly for like the boring businesses, right? Because I'm already thinking about, okay, what's season 2? What's the format going to be? We're going to get more into real estate. We're going to get more into acquisition, M&A space. Like we're going to, niche down maybe just a tiny bit. Hey, a little teaser alert, audience. What's your thought? Like, have you guys worked with companies that, because, a lot of baby boomers are trying to retire. Kids want to be TikTok and YouTube stars. They're not trying to run plumbing and and roofing businesses.
They're not trying to do actual work, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So like, have you guys worked with companies that are looking to look more attractive and have more systems and have more predictable customer acquisition channels as they prepare an exit to sell maybe to a private equity fund or to a micro PE or sell to another competitor? Like, have you guys worked with those kind of clients before? Do you guys have a playbook for strategies or, any experience in that space?
Well, before Joe answers the question, so I'll plug a feature podcast we have. So this topic has come up so much that we're filming an episode next month with a merger and acquisition specialist, just because it was a topic of interest. So we have a gentleman, Kaizen Patel, who wrote a book, who's a leader in this, a good resource in this space for us to find out about that. Joe actually had a client first person, who was asking about your same thing, like, oh, baby boomer, want to get out, buying the business, established and everything. Joe, take it over.
Yeah, I mean, I would say definitely if you're looking to sell your business. Now, I'm not a professional. I don't know anything about selling businesses, but you still have to. I mean, I know there's different ways to go about doing it. You as the business owner should still go and get your business evaluated. Find a local company or a company that you've read online that actually helps evaluate businesses to give you some sort of value, so you know what your company's worth. So I had this happen firsthand with a client in the services businesses industry. I don't want to give away what they do, but they thought their business was worth more than it was. When all things settled, they found out that, when you have a business, if you own property, that has value. If you own your equipment, that has value. If you have a certain amount of traffic to your website, that has value. How you show up online has value, because that also turns into potential revenue in the future. Then you can also look at how much revenue does your company have, because then there's the times whatever models where they throw on, well, this is what your company is worth times this, because of this is the potential for growth with revenue. So there is formulas to it, right? I would say find a company that knows how to evaluate businesses to have it done, because the person who's going to be interested in buying your business, guess what? They're going to have their own evaluation done. So they're going to get into your underwear drawer, and they're going to learn every single thing about your business, because they have to put a value on what your company's worth. As far as the ins and outs of how to do it, I can't attest to that. We do have the one guest coming on. We have another guest coming on our podcast, Terry Dry. He's going to talk about evaluations for businesses because he's in that M&A space as well. But you are correct. It's just a topic that is coming up more and more, because your baby boomers, they're like, well, I just saw hey, the COVID thing came and went, and I just realized that I want to be spending more time with my family. Let's sell the business and let's spend more time with friends, spend more time with family. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a secret to it. You just have to find someone who can evaluate your business, and you may learn that your business isn't worth what you think it's worth or what it should be worth.
Man, I am on the other side where I'm like, I want to buy these boring businesses. It is so attractive, like the cash flow and how inefficient some of these companies are being ran, and how for instance, you guys obviously are really good at what you do, right? So businesses that has your services probably is going to be more valuable if they are just not doing anything, right? Like no reputation management, like all their customers are in their head. They call them on their cell phone, right? Or, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man. So I have a feeling that in probably about 15 months or 18 months, I'm probably going to be hitting you guys up, be like, yo, I want you guys to help me run my portfolio of plumbers, man, or contractors or whatever I'm looking to probably get into as some partners. But I thought that was interesting.
If you want to buy a business, I have another client who's selling an HVAC company.
Please.
I will say this. We just built a website for a client that's been in business 62 years. They're they service lawnmowers and power equipment and sell power equipment. And he bought it because the owner had his fourth heart attack, and the stress of running a business too much, especially with COVID and loans and operational things. He bought it, and now it's quickly pivoting. Now they have a web presence using the website for lead generation, going out and marketing traditionally and online and social media. And he had told me that there's a growth potential of like 25% within the first year just by applying like a digital playbook to a non-traditional business, that's been in business 62 years in the same location. So with a company called Ward's Power Equipment, wardspowerequipment.org, I think it's the website, but they're a steel dealer. And it's a perfect thing of a mindset of, let me apply a modern digital playbook to a brick and mortar business to be sustainable and grow. And, he's well on his way to growing that business. So it can happen. And there are entrepreneurs looking to acquire more things because they see those diamonds in the rough that just need a little love, just polish it a little harder, and then the end product will be there to have a good return on a solid investment. So
I will say then if you're looking to purchase a business, make sure processes are in place for the business that you're buying. Make sure that they have the staff already in place. Make sure that the infrastructure is already there, because what you don't want to do is have to buy a business and then still build up that business, build up that infrastructure. Make sure that you have the office staff to answer the phones. Make sure that you have the right CRM software to handle learn about who your clients are. Make sure that you have the proper whatever. Just make sure that infrastructure is already there. If you're going to buy a business, don't buy a business to have to implement everything. Buy a business that already has it there, because you want to buy a business that essentially can continue to run with you not there.
Plug and play, right?
Love it. Yo, so this episode was fire. I loved it. Love you guys. This is great. How can people find you, man? If they want to learn more, how can people find you guys?
You go to our website, valormarketingllc.com. You can look us. We have our podcast, askvalormasterminds.com. And that's just a podcast about bringing on different guest speakers to talk about topics similar to this that are relevant to business that people want to learn about. So ask.
You will be a guest on an upcoming episode too, Desmond. So we're looking forward to that. So
yeah, Desmond's going to be on here in a few months. Actually, a couple months, I think.
Yeah.
Talking sales. So, Hey guys, I'm going to leave all those beautiful links in the section below. Go check that
Desmond,
out.
Can we have one last plug?
Yeah, plug it away, man.
The initiative that we're so proud of during the COVID era was our hashtag Valor Cares initiative, where we're giving websites away to small business owners. Joe, you want to do your formal plug, please, for our Valor Cares initiative?
Plug. Sure. So if you own a business, and let's say you have a website that's 3 or 4 years old, or let's say you have a website that's built on maybe a DIY platform, or maybe you have a website that your cousin's best friend's brother who lives in his basement built, and you just don't have access to that website, you can go to our Valor Marketing website. There's going to be a page that says Valor Cares, submit your information, and then a committee of people chooses anywhere from 1 to 2 winners every single month, and we give away free website builds. The kicker to that is there's a company called Waymark. They're based in Detroit, Michigan. The owner of that company is going to be on our podcast as well. But he's like, all right, I want to help you guys out, and I want to provide a 1-month service for free videos. So Waymark, they're gonna allow you to do free videos. We're going to give away free website builds.
Man, that's sick. Man. Okay, guys, go check them out. This episode was awesome. I really appreciate you guys. And audience, I appreciate you maybe a little bit more, just a tiny bit, because you just gave us your most precious resource on the planet, which is your time. And I'm so grateful for that. So if you found this episode very, very entertaining and also informative, go ahead and share it with your friends. Send it through a quick DM or an email or a text message, whatever that looks like for you. Leave us that rating, leave us that review. Once again, because reputation management is important. And if you want to get on the pod and play with us in the sandbox, feel free to go to campfirecapitalism.com/guest and apply to join. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you at the next campfire.
Thank you, Desmond. Appreciate it.